Welcome to another episode of Dr. Dana Rakowski TV, and on this episode, I'm going to be discussing all the reasons why I became a school psychologist and how I got into the field of mental health. So please subscribe so you never miss an episode, and stay tuned. So if you're just tuning in, my name is Dr. Dana Rakowski. I am a nationally certified school psychologist, mom of 2 girls, and I live in sunny South Florida. So I'm talking about all the things school psychology today and how I got into the field of mental health. Now, if you haven't heard of school psychology, it's been around for a while, but I didn't know about it until I actually was researching areas of psychology I wanted to study in graduate school. While I was searching through graduate programs and different areas of interest, I came across school psychology, and I was really interested in learning more about this up and coming field. So these are the reasons why I decided to move forward with school psychology versus doing other types of psychology. One of the main reasons was I get to work with kids. I love working with kids. They're so much fun. So I work with kids all the way from like 18 months old all the way up to 12th grade. So about 21 they can be. So that's a pretty broad range. So I've been trained to work with children from little babies all the way up to adults. However, I primarily work right now in the elementary school setting, so ages about 4 to about 11 right now. But I have worked also in middle schools and high schools, so I have experience through all the levels. But right now, pre-K through 5th grade is where I'm placed. The other reason I chose this field is it's never boring. Like, every day is different. I never know what I'm going to encounter when I come to work. So my days consist of I am doing meetings all day with parents, teachers, determining eligibilities for students so they get the appropriate services, helping with 504 meetings, doing interventions, doing crisis intervention, counseling, testing, observations, working with the staff, parent trainings. I mean, the list just goes on. There's so many things that my job does and so many areas that I am trained in. So it really kind of makes it never boring. So, and like, I never know what kind of problems I'm going to be encountering during the day. Like, for example, there's times when I have students running out of the classroom trying to hop the fence and they're coming to me for help. Like, the faculty, like, hey, what do we do? What kind of intervention do we need to do for this kid? Or there's fighting, or this kid needs counseling, or, you know, there's something traumatic event that goes on. They come to me because I am the expert at the school. So kind of cool. The other thing is that the opportunities are endless with what you can do in the field of mental health. So while I love working in the schools, there's also the opportunity to have a private practice. I can work for a testing publishing company. There's so many things that I could do. I find it really fascinating. So there are so many areas that I can learn about constantly and kind of enhance my CV as time goes on. There's always room for growth. So there are so many trainings that are available as a psychologist, especially in the field of school psychology, because testing companies, if you're not familiar with testing, which are like psychological evaluations, psychoeducational evaluations, that's what we primarily do in the schools, they're constantly renorming tests. So we constantly have trainings on these new tests that come out so we can learn about the administration process, what populations they best serve, and all the new criteria, that things that are constantly changing in the district and within the United States, because there's so much research constantly going on. So that's part of our job, is to kind of constantly be in tune with the things that are going on in the world, you know, with all things mental health and kids and current events, because a lot of the times these kids witness things in their neighborhood and then we have to come in and counsel them, or there's a crisis going on in the United States, you know, like 9/11 happened. That's an example. Like, that would be a broad range, and that, you know, we have to provide services for that. Also, another reason I love it, it's very rewarding. So I feel like I can really make a change in a child's life. Even if I help one child, I feel that is huge. just identifying that a child may be struggling emotionally or academically. It's really, because a lot of the times teachers are not trained to identify students that are having these mental health issues. So in class, they might be coming across as they might be demonstrating like violent behaviors, aggressive behaviors, or crying, or some sort of anxiety or things like that. But they're just saying, oh, their child is having a problem, but they can't really identify what the problem is. So that's where my job comes in, kind of to do that work and to really make a difference in that child's life, to see how I can help them. Another thing I really love about my job is building long-term relationships. So not only am I building long-term relationships within the school setting, so I have the faculty and staff here, I have my students and the parents. So there's a lot of relationships to be built over time. So they have to build the trust in me and I have to get to know them. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. Another thing I love about my job is the detective work. So teachers will refer to the school-based team, a child that's having academic or behavioral problems, and that's where my job comes in, to be a detective. So we have to determine what is going on with this student. So is he just demonstrating characteristics of autism? Is he having a specific learning disability? Is there something else going on? So that's where my detective work comes in. So I conduct observations. Then when I do my psychological evaluation, I am looking at the scores and really determining the child's strengths and weaknesses, why they're not excelling in school, what's going on. So that's the one part I love about my job, is the data. I love data. I love looking at it, studying it, analyzing it, and trying to really figure out what is going on with this student, because there's so many areas that I can look at, whether it be memory, whether it be intellectual functioning, academic skills, processing, whether it be auditory processing, whether it's expressive or receptive language skills, visual processing. There's so many areas. Like, it's crazy. Behavioral, adaptive functioning. So I like to figure out the puzzle. I think it's fun. Maybe you don't think so, but I do. I love the data. So I don't know. Then one of my favorite things is advocating for the kids, because I get to be a child advocate. Favorite part about being a school psychologist, about everything else that I have mentioned, I'll let you in on a secret. You get not only weekends off, but you get every holiday that the students get off, and summer breaks, winter break, and spring break. So I think I work like 200 days a year, which is unheard of. So no complaints there. So that's why I am a school psychologist, and maybe you should consider it too. So if you have any questions about the field at all, want some insight, graduate school, where you should study, how you should study, about school psych programs, about the field itself, feel free to reach out to me. My email's listed below. You can find me on social media, send me a message. Love to chat with you. I